there's already been some off-season scuffles. First rule of business, we're gonna go over NFL free agency, of course. Some big remaining free agents in the off-season when we're just a few weeks away from NFL kickoff. We're in the middle of the preseason, but majority are some practice squad and some late round picks trying to earn a spot in the 53-man roster. So primarily, you're not going to be seeing your favorite players start because, of course, it's limited snaps. You're going to be possibly seeing Aaron Rodgers coach away the team and possibly play 2 to 3 snaps per drive, or at least not play. Just play the first quarter and then coach the rest of the game through. Majority of your starters are possibly not going to be playing. But it's okay. If you still want to watch some football, go ahead and watch it over the preseason. Big news involving the New England Patriots. Ezekiel Elliott just got signed over a 2-year deal with the New England Patriots from last night. Involving their questionable off-season scuffles in the decline of production over Ezekiel Elliott. Why are you trying to always say Saquon Barkley? He's finally got signed to a team over a limited amount, even though majority of what's been happening around this offseason, people were thinking Ezekiel Elliott would still be a max contract player, but he's not. Zach Martin as well retains on the Dallas Cowboys. While it's a 1-year deal, $6 million for Ezekiel Elliott. And knowing that, I feel like as the decline of an all-pro ability Ezekiel Elliott has, I'm not saying that he's bad, I'm just saying that he's overrated. Does that always mean that he's not good enough to start an NFL team? Absolutely not. But I do feel like he does get a bit overgratified involving what he does for the Dallas Cowboys offense. He really doesn't move the chains that much. Isn't much of a catch-run option. Can split around the gut. Can be a good exceptional nickel backup with Ramondre Stevenson that had a good year for the New England Patriots. Ty Montgomery that can add as a good red zone threat and just somebody to move over the chains over third down and fourth down conversions. Ezekiel Elliott has shown that he can be, basically a fullback at this point, or a primordial nickel. So Elliott to the Patriots is actually a good move. And knowing that they were trying to get a hot start over trying to get that massive deal for DeAndre Hopkins, that kind of stood awry. Your number one option is going to be Juju. That's a bit tough. Devontae Parker is still there. You guys missed out on a lot. Majority of your receiving core is Keyshawn Botte and Demario Douglas. You guys have a lot of, and Kendrick Bourne is obviously still going to be an option in the receiving core. So a lot of threats. More in the tight end and rushing option than it is going to be in the receiving core. So expect a very conservative Patriots offense this season, guys. And that's kind of been their bread and butter for their entire NFL career anyway. So don't be surprised if the Patriots offense doesn't really change. We still see a lot of screen plays on this Patriots offense. You expect them to make at least a sub 500 run with Mac Jones, or there'll still be quarterback issues. That's still up for discussion. Their defense obviously tried to hold their own, but their offense has so many flaws, bro. It was tough to see them lose some games, especially that Raiders game where Ramondre Stevenson, I don't think that was off Ramondre Stevenson laddering it back so that they can continue the play and try to score a touchdown instead of take it to overtime. And then it ended over to, I think Jacoby Myers threw up the ball over to Landry Jones, and it went over stiff-armed Mac Jones to take it to the end zone. I don't think that was the game that got them out of the playoff hunt, but that was still a mediocre game. A detrimental loss for Patriots fans that I think a lot of people still remember from last season. We got some NBA news. Also, Dalvin Cook to the Jets. Dalvin Cook over a 1 year, $7 million deal to the New York Jets. People are thinking he was going to go to the Colts to help them try to add some depth after uh, some false some false accusations over his injury history, and in just under 2 weeks he'll turn 29. Usually that would be retirement age for a running back. Even though Dalvin Cook has been the most productive, but some teams been not trying to pull the trigger on Dalvin Cook because of his allegations over domestic abuse with his former partner. So, yeah, I could understand why, but Dalvin Cook's an exceptional running back. If it wasn't for the issues, it wouldn't. It would have took until like early July that he could have found an NFL team, or around June. If it wasn't for his legal issues, in my opinion. But you know what you're gonna do. Everything's unpredictable. And do not forget, we got NBA news. James Harden, I think Daryl Morey, over the news of James Harden not really getting much trade assets, or not even getting that much of trade value. He's gonna stay with the Sixers. I wonder what's gonna be the issue of him even staying out if nobody wants him already around the offseason. And there was a lot of people saying this is already a complete playoff team, and they were right. They had good depth, nice future players, good rotational pieces to assist. They had a good overpriced wing out of Tobias Harris. That was just a glorified spot-up shooter that couldn't create his own shot to save his life. And it has much production as Harden in the playoffs anyway. Joel Embiid literally limping on one leg to carry them over to a second-round exit. And then we got Harden that literally came out of dropping 50 one night and then dropping 13 the next. Like, there's not much you're going to get over Harden. An overproductive team that made it over as a third seed, made it near in a game 7, a near conference final appearance over the second time with a league MVP. What are you in a lower opportunity over on the Sixers than you were on any other team, Harden? This is literally the best, better constructed team I've seen since when Chris Paul joined the Houston Rockets back in 2018. When you guys were damn near in a conference finals appearance, when you guys got gobsmacked after your own militia over in Houston, going over 27. So you tell me, Harden, what are the Sixers not doing for you that you like? And the player privilege in this, and the way that the NBA forms, if nothing happens for you automatically, then, you guys are not doing what I want to leave. And it's got to be because of the paychecks that got you beyond your means. Because you're obviously not the franchise guy anymore, Harden, like you were in Houston. If Embiid wants to go to, like, the Knicks, please. He would go for the Knicks if the franchise, because they built around him. Embiid has a near a decade of history over with the Sixers and made it over, and his involvement has got them to the playoffs. Majority of time, his production has made the Sixers relevant over the past decade, and he's shown that with his accomplishments, his ability, and his improvements over the time, and actually sticking with the process until recently, where he said, I don't think this bullshit's working. That's more of the opinion that we can build around, because he's actually been there going over the trials and tribulation. I'd rather take Embiid's feedback if this is not helping me win. I don't want to be here. I can understand that over Harden. Embiid's like a prime player just coming out of an MVP run. If the team's not building around him, he has the right to leave. Harden was a former MVP that's around 33 years old. I'm not saying that he sucks or he's fallen off. Still around 33, he was still able to produce 19 points per game. It wasn't that long ago he was in the All-Star game. He could still drop around 40 to 45. He had some 30-point games, and over the regular season, he barely declined when it came to his move-up tempo. And he can move up like combo guard to point guard like nobody. But Harden's obviously out of his head here, over his head. So it's a bit silly what Harden can get himself into. I think the only free agency signing we can go over for the NBA is still Josh Hart for the New York Knicks. I got 4 years, $81 million after an outstanding show off in the second half of the season after getting traded from the Portland Trailblazers. Getting them like in several winning streaks around the regular season and making it to the conference semifinals, something the Knicks haven't done since 2013. And being and he's made it over to the U.S. national team. I could take this over as an overpay over from the 3 years, $50 million that we already got Dante DiVincenzo. Apparently, trying to actually add players on the team that can play instead of one player. That means that you suck. Go ahead, add as many washed, overrated, unproven All NBA players that can't stay healthy, can't produce consistently, or can't even stay their head out the media. Sure, Julius Randle has his faults, but I can't say that he hasn't improved since that signing. Thinking like that was the worst decision in history involving him getting signed over to the Knicks. Sure, Bobby Portis didn't flop over that system because they got several forwards trying to play over a starting rotation at the 4 and 5. But at least Randle has shown that he can actually prove himself to be a high-scoring, productive starter on the team. Bobby Portis has shown to be a champion-winning defensive forward, and now he's on the U.S. men's national team, killing every team that moves. Just beat Spain not that long ago. Slovenia, sure, I know there is no Luka Doncic. And Russia, I think they beat Russia. And just knowing that always for a team, you need like 6 All-NBA league MVPs to try to win a championship, and you can't construct them from the ground up. It really shows how ignorant certain NBA franchises are. Like the Sixers, like the Nets, like the Lakers. So whoever thinks the Knicks aren't doing anything to actually improve around their roster, knowing that they had a lack of shooting, consistent shooting, because you had Brunson playing 48, 45, 43 minutes around the postseason. No one can take a handle up or move the second unit, and he had to carry over all that scoring. And can we stop with the RJ Barrett hate? All because he's not league MVP level in under 5 years doesn't mean that he's a bust. Please. He's averaging around like 9.3, and he's still a consistent starter, and he's on the Canadian national team. Can we stop? New York media is either your championship level or suck. Where's that? And where's that mentality for any Yankees or Mets fans? Because you guys are all the same. The only thing are the Yankees are older. Like, come on. Usually I don't take opinions off championships won by segregation. Honestly. So that's practically all I have for the show today. If you guys feel like Harden's in the right for all the allegations of lying, trying to force himself over in the media after publicly saying that Daryl Morey's been lying over to the media and he's not trying to play for the Sixers, what's going to happen around the NFL regular season, because I'm sure there's a lot more available, free agents available around this offseason for certain NFL teams that could start after Hakeem Njoku went over to the Chicago Bears after having a stint in the Raiders for the last 2 seasons. Ezekiel Elliott possibly can resurge his career over in the New England Patriots, being a good piece on the rushing offense. They got like 3 good running backs now. Ezekiel Elliott's an All-Pro. You got Tiger Montgomery, that's a reliable piece, a good steal from the offseason. And if Roquan Stevenson could actually keep up the pace like he did last season, Patriots could actually be in the conversation to take over the AFC East, because still, even though Aaron Rodgers is on the Jets, still an unproven offense. Need to get their their rushing healthy and stay a consistent team, because they were in the playoff hunt for the middle of the season until they lost like 6 straight and missed the playoffs when they were in the conversation. And the Dolphins, of course, if Tua can actually stay in healthcare, the Dolphins can actually lead the division. And the Bills just need to actually stay consistent. For real, this time. Like, they had a good regular season. I know Nasir Hines is out, and he was a great special teams player that had, like, what? In the final season, I understand it was all a ploy because we know what happened to their teammate when they played the Bengals. Damar Hamlin, when he collapsed on the field, so we know that was all for him. When he went for 2 straight kickoff return touchdowns on Week 18 of the regular season. But come on, that's a bit of a blow, but they're still one of the better teams in the AFC East. There should be no excuse. Knowing how competitive the division is, I understand more in general the conference, because we know when the Bills play the Chiefs, Chargers, possibly the Ravens, Bengals, and some, of course, some NFC opponents. It's gonna get tough, but the Bills have shown that they are one of the powerhouses that you got to look out for around the regular season. But you guys comment down below how you feel. Thanks for watching Sidelines Productions Podcast. It's your man DST. I have another show called the DST Show. That's primary channel. Try to get the subs on there. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.